I think one of the biggest challenges in terms of the future of human rights is fear.
Inequality, in all of its forms, limits our ability to exercise human rights.
Leadership means inspiring others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more.
Struggle for scarce natural human resources will undermine all known human rights obligations in the future.
Ethical leadership is exemplified by traits such as justice, honesty, and empathy.
Ethical leaders must be fundamentally simple.
I think the biggest challenge to human rights at this point in time is getting agreement that everybody has them and that this includes migrants and asylum seekers.
Fear is an incredibly powerful tool. It can divide us and it gives us reason to not trust each other. It's the reason for many of the conflicts we have today. But despite that, I think there's a lot of opportunities for the future of human rights, and in particular, I think the most powerful weapon we have to combat fear is hope.
Many positive advances have taken place since 1948, such as a dramatic reduction of poverty. However, inequality has been on the rise, both within countries and among countries, and this has created a divergence. For some, human rights feel more real and more tangible every day, and they are able to live fulfilling lives by exercising them. For others, however, human rights feel more distant and harder to materialize. If we want human rights to be a reality for all of us and not just some of us, governments must tackle economic, political, gender, ethnic, and all forms of inequality as a serious challenge for human rights.
One of the greatest challenges for human rights is the adaptation with new technologies that are going to become mainstream. And their effect on people's lives and rights will be tremendous. What makes this period different is that the rate of technological advancement is unlike anything we have ever seen before.
We're seeing migrant families struggling to access health services, housing and basic social security. And in many cases, migrants are restricted in their rights to work and to study. The Global Compact on Migration does offer a different way of thinking about these challenges and an opportunity to demonstrate that we can manage migration and uphold human rights at the same time. But it will take really courageous leadership to be able to deliver that promise in every country and in every part of the world.
Identity may not seem much of a hassle, but for the underprivileged and marginalized sections of the society around the world, having a claim to an identity is extremely crucial. It is a proof of their personhood through which every other right or opportunity follows.
I am hopeful that we can bring people together. I am hopeful that we can build bridges. I'm hopeful that we can share perspectives and ideas that may not be familiar to us. And in doing so, we can fight for everyone's human rights. We live in a world that is more connected and more globalized than ever before, and this is a great opportunity to share a window into someone else's life, to see their reality, and to hopefully make a change for them as well as for your own community.
A good ethical leader is someone who reflects personal courage and enables new leaders to make this world a better place. Leadership is a choice, it is not a rank. One of the greatest humanitarians of the world, Abdul Sattar Idi, is an example of phenomenal ethical leader from Pakistan. He never judged anyone, put humanity above religion, focused on his work, and did not wait for others to change the world. His exemplary legacy continues to live on in the hearts of his loved one, in the actions of his followers, and in good deeds of those who want to serve humanity. Leaders need to be real. Only those who do so will thrive in this new emerging world.
We are in my rural home in Kenya, and I think this is a perfect setting to express my belief of what ethical leadership is. And this can be encompassed in one word: simplicity. Much like this place, ethical leaders must be fundamentally simple. Simple in the way they approach communication, strategic execution, engagement of the public, and the execution of their mandate. Often, the most complex of problems have the simplest of solutions. And it takes a humility of approach to recognize the simplicity of a solution. Be simple, be straightforward, and you will be an ethical leader.
Morally complex actions are inescapable in leadership. For example, in 2014, where 276 girls were kidnapped in northern Nigeria, should the military have stormed the Sambisa forest, knowing the raid might result in new casualties? Or should the government negotiate with terrorists? Well, English philosophers Jeremy Bentham and John Locke, who both studied here at Oxford, are forefathers of ethical theories such as deontology, where morality is determined by duty or laws, and consequentialism, where the outcomes are the basis of moral judgments. Inevitably, a good ethical leader is one who can wisely determine what the right course of ethical action is in every given situation.
I think our human rights are better protected now than in 1948. I say that because, over the last 70 years, strong institutions have been built to protect human rights, such as the European Court of Human Rights and the UN. In Scotland, since the creation of the Scottish Parliament, which is behind me, we've had an opportunity to take thinking on human rights forward, embedding it in our laws and in development of public policy. We want to have a Scotland that is inclusive, protects, respects and promotes human rights, and have put it at the centre of our national performance framework.
This year marks the 70th anniversary of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. It may be hard to believe, but 20 years after this document was created, the people of Northern Ireland were still denied some of the fundamental freedoms. This year also marks the 50th year of the civil rights movement here in Northern Ireland. Inspired by the actions of Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. and motivated to deliver a fair and just society, the Civil Rights Campaign started their peaceful journey to delivering the Northern Ireland you know today. The achievements of the Human Rights Declaration and the Civil Rights Movement are only made possible by fearless and ethical leadership.